mission today is to retrace the path of the pronghorn. The pronghorn antelope, for over 6,000 years, has been making its way up from the Red Desert in southern Wyoming up through the areas near Pinedale, Wyoming, and across by the upper Green River Valley and into the Pronghorn Valley and down into the Bridger-Teton National Forest, home of Teton National Park, and into Yellowstone National Park. The idea, again, is to take a look at the pronghorn. The pronghorn have been traveling over 160 miles, and that's the longest wildlife migration route in the lower 48. And as I mentioned earlier, it's about 6,000 years old. Now, along the way, they're going to come across a lot of bottlenecks, and bottlenecks lately have been actually stopping them and reducing the migration of these animals. But the really interesting thing about the pronghorn is they're one of the fastest animals in the world, and I think they're as fast as a cheetah for short distances. But we see real large areas, wide open spaces where the pronghorn is able to negotiate and be out of these forests. And as we're getting up higher, you're seeing the Pronghorn Mountains in the background, and right up to the upper areas where we're about to cross over into the upper Green River Valley. And this is an amazing area up here, and it's almost like the tundra, where I'll bank the plane again, and so you can see that area of the tundra, because it's pretty wild country right now, and snow is on it for way late into the spring, as we can see. And the upper Green River Valley represents a crucial landscape. It's a connection between the high peaks of the western Wyoming's Wind River Range, which we're seeing in the background there. It's hard to see right now because it's a little, clouds are still on it. The Pronghorn Range and the Wyoming Range. So the valley is home to over 100,000 big game animals, and it's North America's longest big game migration corridor, and represents the largest publicly owned big game winter range in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. So it's all really very, very important landscape that we're looking at, and looking at these wind rivers. And someday, hopefully, you'll do another eco tour and we'll be able to get closer up to those mountains, because they are just magnificent. As we fly back down now towards Pinedale, you'll see some of the bigger lakes, Trapper Lakes, and these are these huge glaciated lakes that will empty us out onto the plains. And some of the flatlands and plains where people are starting to ranch and farm. But more importantly, what's happening to the landscape that is really influencing the path of the pronghorn are the oil and gas rigs. And this is just the beginning of them. We're starting to see these areas, and we're coming to a point which is known as Trapper's Point. So, Trapper's Point is an area that is a critical consequence because of all the oil and gas that's squeezing these pronghorn as they start to come up. It's located in Sublette County, and Pinedale's right off there to the south. And the idea here is really to try to develop a protection plan for the Trapper's Point wildlife migration route, which will be a crucial corridor for the pronghorn antelope. And this is an area just west of Pinedale, which only has a population of 1,400 people. But the corridor really shrinks to like a mile-wide slot flanked by the Green and New Fork rivers. And there are houses and a highway and dirt roads. They squeeze what's known as Trapper Point to probably only about a half-mile wide bottleneck, and it's really stopped a lot of these pronghorn. It also sits on the edge of the Pinedale Anticline, one of the nation's richest known natural gas deposits. And you're about to see something that has really affected this area. All you're starting to see are oil and gas wells, and some of the county's 5,000 residents have expressed concerns of what this could mean for Trapper's Point and for the 45,000 antelope and 33,000 deer that roam this area. And as we prepare to land here in Jackson, I hope that gives you an idea of what that path of the pronghorn really means. And they have quite a journey, and we have quite a journey right now to make sure that we can help protect that land, so that for the next 6,000 years, they'll still be coming up to the Jackson Hole area. Thanks very much for coming along. I hope this gives you an idea of the majesty and the importance of the landscape we've just flown over.